You ever have one of those days where you just beat yourself up for procrastinating, or you get so frustrated for not sticking to your own plans? I think we've all been there. But what if I told you the problem isn't you, it's not your character, and it's definitely not your willpower? Today, we're going to completely tear down this idea of discipline that we've all been taught and rebuild it from the ground up in a way that actually works with your brain, not against it.
Okay, let's just get one thing straight right off the bat. You know that idea that discipline is some kind of moral superpower you either have or you don't? Yeah, that's not just wrong, it's a total misunderstanding of how we're built. And I don't mean that figuratively. We are literally talking about the nuts and bolts, the actual wiring of your brain.
So if it's not a character flaw, then what in the world is it? Well, that brings us to our first big idea here. We need to talk about the great big willpower lie.
You see, trying to muscle your way to discipline using sheer willpower, it's kind of like trying to fight millions of years of evolution with a few motivational quotes you saw on Instagram. It's just not a fair fight. Your brain evolved for one primary thing, keeping you alive right now. It's basically programmed to be a lazy but efficient hunter-gatherer, not some hyper-focused productivity machine. And that, right there, creates this huge conflict in the modern world we live in.
In this conflict, it's not just a feeling, it's literally hardwired into us. To really get why your brain sometimes feels like it's sabotaging your best intentions, we've got to peek under the hood and look at its default setting, survival mode.
Okay, this right here is the heart of the whole problem. Your brain's ancient operating system, let's call it Brain 1.0, just wants to do three things: save energy, get quick rewards, and avoid anything that feels like hard work. It's not designed for the treadmill. It's designed for the couch. It doesn't want to spend hours studying. It wants that quick, easy dopamine hit from scrolling through your phone. But our modern world, it demands the complete opposite. It wants you to be productive and think long-term. See the mismatch?
And this brings us to a really key concept from neuroscience called cognitive ease. Here's the deal. Your brain isn't really rational. It's efficient. It's a bit of a shortcut artist. It doesn't sit there and weigh the long-term pros and cons. Nope. It unconsciously, automatically, and instantly picks whatever requires the least amount of energy in this very moment. This isn't even a choice you're aware you're making. It happens in a split second before you've even had a chance to think about it.
So, okay, if our brain is always going to take the path of least resistance, then fighting it head-on is a battle we're destined to lose, right? So what's the solution? We stop trying to force it with willpower. Instead, we get smart. We realize that true discipline, well, it's actually just good design. James Clear, the author of the amazing book Atomic Habits, he just nails this. He basically says that if you find yourself constantly needing to pump yourself up with motivation and willpower, it's a huge red flag that your setup is just wrong. You're basically picking a fight with the fundamental structure of your brain. And let me tell you, in that fight, fatigue is going to win every single time.
And this leads us to this really cool and powerful idea called choice architecture. Just think about those two words. It's not about your inner strength, it's about engineering your behavior. It's this simple but honestly profound idea that our choices are massively shaped by what's around us. Whatever is closest, whatever is easiest, whatever is most visible, yeah, that's what you're going to end up doing.
Let me give you a perfect, super simple example of this in action. There was the study in a cafeteria where researchers wanted to see if they could change what people drank without saying a single word to them. No nagging, no signs, nothing. So what did they do? All they did was rearrange the drinks. They took all the water bottles and put them right up front in the most obvious, easy-to-grab spots. The sodas, they were still there, but they were moved to the back, just a little less convenient to get to.
And the result? It was honestly astonishing. Water consumption went way up, and soda sales dropped. Nobody was told, hey, you should drink more water. There were no posters, no lectures, nothing like that. They simply made the healthy choice the path of least resistance. And the brain, always looking for that cognitive ease, just did the rest automatically. And this is the absolute key takeaway. The people who we look at and think, wow, they're so disciplined, they're not stronger or more motivated or morally superior, not at all. They're just smarter architects of their own lives. They build systems and set up their environment so that doing the right thing is actually the easiest thing to do. It's all about preparation, not just raw effort.
Okay, so if we're going to be the architects of our own lives, where do we get the blueprints? How do we actually do this? Well, luckily for us, there's a really practical, easy-to-follow framework for designing these better habits.
James Clear lays out 4 simple laws for us to engineer any habit. First up, make it obvious. Like put your running shoes right by the front door so you literally trip over them. Second, make it attractive. You got to associate it with something you actually like. Maybe listen to your favorite podcast, but only when you run. Third, and this is a big one, make it easy. Your goal isn't to run a marathon tomorrow. Your goal is just to put your shoes on. That's it. Reduce that friction until it feels silly to say no. And finally, make it satisfying. Your brain needs a little reward, a little pat on the back. So maybe you track your run in an app and see that streak build up. It closes the loop.
Now, just look at how this completely transforms something we all dread, like studying. The before picture, the environment is totally working against you. Your books are buried in a backpack, the goal of study for an hour feels massive, and there's no reward at the end. I mean, of course you're going to procrastinate. But after we apply these 4 laws, we basically engineered success. The study material is sitting right there, open on your desk. You start by making your favorite drink. The goal isn't study for an hour, it's study for 5 minutes. It's so easy you can't say no, and you get to mark it off on a tracker for that little hit of satisfaction. Suddenly, the problem isn't about discipline anymore, it's about design.
You guys, this is a total game changer. Procrastination is not a sign that you're lazy. It's actually a really useful signal. It's your brain sending up a flare telling you, hey, this task as it's currently designed is too hard or too boring or there's nothing in it for me. It's a prompt to go fix your system, not to beat yourself up.
But, just designing a better system is only part of the story. If you want to make this change stick for good, we have to connect it to the deepest level of all, our identity.
This is honestly one of the most powerful quotes I've ever heard on this topic. It's not your big, ambitious goals that determine where you end up. It's the systems you follow every single day. Because when life gets hard, and it will, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. You just default to whatever is easiest. And this is where the real magic happens. Every single time you do one of these small, well-designed habits, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. Deciding to study for just 5 minutes? That's a vote for I'm a learner. Laying out your gym clothes the night before? That's a vote for I'm a healthy person. These tiny votes start to add up. And over time, you stop trying to be disciplined, you just are that person. The behavior just becomes a natural, easy reflection of who you see yourself to be.
So let's wrap this all up, shall we? The ultimate goal here isn't to become some kind of Zen master of self-control. True discipline, it turns out, is really just a side effect. It's the natural result of a well-designed life. It's what happens when your mind stops fighting itself and instead learns how to build a world for itself where doing the right thing is actually the easiest thing to do.
So, I want to leave you with this one question. Forget about willpower. Forget about motivation for a second. Just look at your environment, look at your systems. What is the one small, simple thing you can redesign, like right now, today, to make a good habit just a little more obvious, a little more attractive, a little easier, and a little more satisfying? That's where the journey begins.